Let's talk about intention. I'm Nola Simon. I'm the CEO of Nola Simon Advisory, and I help organizations do hybrid remote work better. When we start talking about hybrid remote, you have to define your intention. What does your future really look? Are you planning to bring people back into the office 100%? Probably I'm not going to be the best consultant for you because I don't believe in that. I believe in being able to integrate your work into your life so that your life actually takes priority. And unless you happen to live around the corner from the office, probably your people are going to be sacrificing too much for that commute. I personally lived 60 kilometers north of where my office used to be. Initially, geographically, it was 45 minutes, but depending on traffic, by the time I actually left that organization, I was up to a 2 hour commute each way. So that's 4 hours a day where I couldn't actually be home and see my kids. And that's a big part why I pioneered work from home, but that's also a big part of why I left to become 100% remote. In part, that was workload and burnout. And there's more to that story. That's something you really have to consider. So, what is it you want for your people? What is it you want for you? You're an employee of your company, and so is your executive team. You are employees. So, look at what it is you want that would help you actually handle your life better. Now, that's your experience, but you also have to consider, like, the people in your company who don't have the resources that you do personally. What does that look like? And that's where you can really look at the job descriptions. You can look at the work that people are expected to do, their life circumstances, whether they have young kids, whether they're older, whether they are single, whether they have family, maybe they left their family in another country, right? So you don't know what their circumstances are, but you can really kind of plan for it. Looking at all the attention, you want to run through personas. So you can create a young mom who has a husband and two kids. You could create a single father. You could create the persona of an older executive who has a stay-at-home wife and lots of supports and a couple of different properties he can work from, and look at how all of those plans work through those filters. So, how does that help your people integrate work into their lives? Does hybrid work? What does it look like when those people actually have to leave their homes and come to your office 2 or 3 times a week? What does that make their week look like? How do they achieve their work? Are you looking at all of the job families that are in your company and breaking it down that way? That's where the intention comes through. You know how you survived the pandemic, whether your company thrived or not, and whether remote work 100% worked. You know where the problems are. You've probably been listening to your staff, your managers, and heard feedback about that. So there's no rush to get back to the office. I know that you may want to get back to the office, but what's important is how the work is working. So start slow in terms of bringing your people back into the office and really approach it with some intention. So start with leaving what was working intact and focus on what actually wasn't working. So if you have problem areas, let's explore those first and go from there. And then once you've got the intention, that's going to fuel all of your storytelling. Once you've got those personas, you can approach people who might be willing to share their stories about how that works in real life and help you tweak the plans. And that's where we can move on to narration. We'll do another video for that.